Okay, so I have taped off my edging around the countertops, and right now I'm just getting into primer. I'm using a brown, dark brown for primer, and of course right now it looks really crappy because it's uneven, and some of the lighter colors showing through, which it's not supposed to look really even or anything. It's just basically to cover up the bulk of the lighter color, and to have a fresh base to start with. You can use black or any kind of darker color. You can use a white if you want more of a white tone to come out in the background. I wanted to use black, but I didn't have enough black paint to do all of it, so dark brown was the next best thing. So that's what I'm doing right now, and it looks really crappy, but this is just the base for it, and once it dries really good, then I can get into the actual sponging. And I'm just using a really dense roller brush, not a very big one because I'm working with some small areas, and just putting on enough to cover up the ivory color in the background. So it smears a little bit. It doesn't really go on very good, but you don't want to use a fluffy brush. You want to use a really dense one, a roller. Okay, the base coat is on and it's dry, and the next step is to start sponging on the different layers of colors that I want. I'm using black, some khaki color, tan, brown, just different ones, and I'm just going to keep them layering. I'm using foam. I don't know what the actual name of it is. Not foam, sponge, foam sponge, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, you just put a little bit like in a paper plate, and you dab off the excess. And there's really no method to this. You just start in random patterns, just dabbing it on. And it's going to look crazy at first. It's going to be all kinds of weird looking shapes and patterns and stuff, but when it blends together with each of the layers over and over, it's going to look really cool. So, and one thing you want to make sure, you don't want to just keep doing dab, 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 dab in the same position. You want to move your hand around, change up the side that you use, or just don't do the same pattern over and over. And start off wide. Don't work in one little small area. Just work all the way around, and then come back in and fill in where you need to. And number one thing, don't get in a hurry. Take your time. When you get in a hurry, it causes a lot of the symmetrical looking pattern and it smears, so you don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep doing this, and then after I do my black, I'm going to start with another layer of a different color. This is what the first layer of sponging looks like, and to get in the creases, I'm using a little brush and just stipple it in a random pattern wherever you can't reach with the sponge. Just any little creases like right here, go around and use a brush for that. And then we'll do our second layer sponging with a different color.
Da 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 da.
This is what the third layer, or actually the second layer of sponging looks like. And I'm going to go back through and do the two colors. Well, actually I'm going to do brown, and then black again, and then the lighter khaki color last, and it should be done after 2 layers of it. Okay, so after I finished all the layering of sponging that I wanted, and I got the color, to look the way I wanted it, I got it more of a brown black and kind of did away with the tan. I wasn't too crazy about the lighter tan on top, so went back over it again with brown and black to accent more of the black instead of the tan. And then I let that dry pretty good, which it doesn't take long for the, color acrylic paint to dry. But once it dries pretty good, then I put on a couple of coats of this polyacrylic top coat. Use a dense foam brush, just like you use for the, what was it, primer. Oh yeah, and the same kind of brush. And then after I did a couple of coats of that, let it dry overnight, and then I sanded it down, and then did a couple more coats. I've still got to do this one over here. I've got to sand it down and try to get rid of some of the rough edges. I don't think you can see it on camera, but there's some bubbles and stuff that need sanding out. And once I sand that out and do a couple more coats, hopefully it'll look really shiny and glossy looking. And then I need to let it dry really, really, really good, probably 12 hours at least, and let it cure. And then I can put everything, back on my countertops and get rid of the tape, the edging tape. But it turned out really good, and I really am pleased with it and happy with the results. And it wasn't too hard. I was expecting it to be a little bit harder than what it was. But yeah, it turned out good. I'm pleased with it. I just have a little bit more work and it'll be done. I'll have finished pictures at the end.